This episode and every episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show is brought to you by Ironmonger Brewing. Visit Ironmonger at their taproom in Marietta, Georgia, or online at ironmongerbrewing.com.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week we are talking to the one, the only, Ale Sharpton. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me as always is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So, as you said, joining us today, we have Ale Sharpton. We also have Becky Smalls.
Hey.
Smalls.
I remembered her this week.
It's
Thank
good.
you.
And so we're going to talk about Ale's traveling craft beer lifestyle, the one that makes us all so jealous, brewing a beer with New Belgium, being featured in Forbes, and meeting the Reverend Al Sharpton. I mean, that's just scratching the surface. Ale. Ale.
Reverend.
Reverend Ale. Are you a reverend? What?
I speak the gospel on beer.
The
Okay.
gospel.
There you go.
The craft beer reverend.
I
Ale
also
Sharpton.
practice that religion.
Yeah.
So we're all among fellow parishioners here, Al.
I'm so happy to be here, man. I really enjoy your radio show, and congrats on what y'all have been doing, man.
Thank you, man.
Especially
I
for the
appreciate
world
it.
of craft beer, for real.
Man, you've been killing it too, Al. Going around, spreading the good word, doing
Yes, sir.
cool stuff, right?
Absolutely, man.
We're gonna
give it up.
We're gonna dive in deep. We're gonna hear about your travels, your adventures, just
Indeed.
all the cool stuff that you've been doing. It's we're gonna have a good conversation, drink some good beers. Al, we're drinking one of your favorite beers, one you suggest people should try out, La Fin du Monde.
Yeah, it's undefeated in terms of transitioning people from people who think that beer just tastes like, fizzy, or it's just, whatever the case is.
Right.
Sorry.
That's okay. We'll have to censor that out, but it's okay.
Okay. Now I know where I'm at.
We
Okay,
got
my
it.
bad.
We
get
set
it.
the bar.
But
Yellow
La Fin-
fizzy water. Yes.
Yellow fizzy water.
But thank
There
you,
you
B, for the
Yeah.
gift. La Fin du Monde is definitely one of the beers that I tell people to try. It's because it's a little bit on the sweet side, but also the effervescence, and it's just really a brilliantly made beer, and it's been around for a long time. So shout out to Chambly, Quebec.
It's good stuff. And, speaking of being around a long time, I think we just saw 25 years. It just celebrated its 25th anniversary.
Being brewed since 1994.
And still some of the most gangster artwork on beer bottles ever. La Fin du Monde. It's a triple, y'all.
The end of the world.
There it is.
Absolutely.
You have to go to the
That's
end of the world to find it, is what they're
That's
saying.
and worth the trip, absolutely. Well, Brian, a busy week, and I've got some sad news to start off the discussion.
Are you
here.
sure it's sad?
I'm
it's
sure
good
it's
news.
sad. No. So we had a Twitter poll just for a little fun, and this week we were talking about jelly. Now, people may say, why in the world are you guys talking about jelly? Well, we've had it in different beers and different meads and sandwiches.
Indeed.
But it's been a debated topic. And Brian, you and I have actually done some after-party dinners at various diners, and we've discussed jelly selection there, too.
We have.
So we've talked about jelly a lot more than any grown people should have.
Probably. And I've noted that, yes. Well, you know what? We need to find out what the poll is. I don't want to
That's
get
it, man.
too far down the rabbit
So
hole.
the poll that we had here was simply, which is the better jelly flavor, grape or strawberry? And I'll say I'm team grape. I'm team grape because it's just classic, man. It's American. Peanut butter grape jelly. You remember the goober grape that comes? It's the peanut
but they
butter.
also had strawberry.
Did they do a
too.
strawberry?
They had two different
I
versions.
like them more already. I am
Yeah.
team
So,
strawberry.
Elle, before I give the results of this, if these are the only two flavors you got to choose, grape or strawberry, what's your jelly flavor?
He looks conflicted.
Well, real quick, I'm a preservatives guy because I like the lumps and all
see,
that
yeah, he
stuff
takes
in
the
there,
next
so-
level.
Okay.
But in the jelly situation, you said goober. I remember that.
Right.
That was enough jelly in there. I can't say that either.
That's okay.
Okay. Sorry. But anyway, never had enough jelly for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is enough jelly, it's got to be strawberry. I'm
Oh,
yes.
Yes,
All
team
right.
strawberry.
Well,
I knew you
it's-
were a genius. I knew it.
the answer to this, the results of our poll, I am very much in the minority here. 79% of people say that strawberry is the superior jelly. I am the 21%.
I need to
That's
hang out
a-
with these other
yeah.
79%.
The 79%.
Yes.
I agree.
Means you're special, man.
Yeah. So very special.
I would not mind at all for more people to get on your side of it, so we'd have less grape on the tables at
Right.
diners and more strawberry left over.
No.
Because everybody eats all the strawberry.
And see, I thought it was the other way around. I'm like, well, grape. There's more grape because it's popular, but no, it's because people are eating all the strawberries.
That's right.
So anyhow, that's enough jelly talk for
Proved.
today. We did drink some beers this week too, Brian.
Yeah. Oh,
we
yeah.
went over to a brewery that actually is not very far from the studio, and we don't get over there that often because anytime we're in this area, we're at the studio.
Yes.
But we went to Red Hair Brewing. We sipped some of their beers. They had a tangerine radler. I think it's a radler. SPF 50/50 tangerine, which was pretty darn killer. The tangerine in it, you could actually taste like the pithiness.
It was really well. Yeah.
It was very fresh tangerine. That was delicious. So we also stopped by the Bold Monk, a brewery under construction here. That's looking really cool. That's going to be really nice. Big place, lots of space to eat. They're going to have a very large beer bar in the woods behind the place. They've got a bridge going over to not the beer bar, the beer garden.
Beer garden, yeah.
But that's it, Brian. And you went out. You had a little Italian beef and beer.
That's right. So we were talking about, I don't know why it came up, but Italian beef. And there's one place in town that has Italian beef, Rosati's. I go there occasionally. They have a great tap list. And I really wanted to mix things up. I haven't had an Italian beef in a while, and they have a lot of interesting beers. I'm like, I want to try something new. And I had IPAs, so I didn't really try anything that new, but I did find out things like Old Nation has a brewed IPA.
I didn't, yes.
And it was quite nice. And I got some Heaven and Ale, and Hop Kush I have confirmed, and Heaven and Ale is out of Chattanooga. I have confirmed that that is still delicious, Tim. It's quite nice.
So Old Nation's Brute IPA is the same recipe as far as malt bill and hops go as M43, just done in the Brute style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was not aware of that. They called that their Woodshed Pilot Series. So
I want to try that.
yeah, it's quite nice. You could always stop over there. I would keep an eye out for that. I like that a lot, and I would definitely drink that whenever I could. I've not seen that package that I'm not sure if we will anytime soon.
Tasty.
But
Yeah.
it was quite nice. Yeah, and you know what else I did, which was fun? It kind of separate from that. I paired a Transmigration of Souls, which is a double IPA, with Bravo Stadium Nachos. The chips.
The chips.
And it was very good,
Nacho
Tim.
chips
I liked
and
it a great
jelly
deal.
and beer and all of that.
IPA and nacho cheese goes together nicely.
Well, yeah, it's
There
going
we
to
go.
enhance that flavor. There was that news article eons ago that said IPAs really enhance the flavor of certain foods and like spicy foods. It makes it even spicier and things like that.
Up until now, it was
Good
not
stuff.
confirmed by me. Now it has been
Okay.
confirmed by me. Well, Tim, I think it's time for the beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
Brian, as always, we have a fantastic selection of beers here. We started out with the Unibrew. Unibrew or Unibrew? L?
Unibrew. Unibrew.
Unibrew. La Fin du Monde. Fantastic beer. We have something from a local brewery, Six Bridges. Sour Continuum with pink guava, which is really nice. And we got a little New Glarus Brewing up in the house. We're going to sip some Spotted Cow.
Spotted Cloud, yes.
Spotted Cloud, Wisconsin classic beer. Good stuff. We got some more. We'll see what we get into. But, Brian, what's happening in the news?
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
All right, so to start things off, just a quick congratulations to Founders. They just expanded into Hawaii, which means they are now available in all 50 states. That's a no mean feat right now in this environment. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, and the corn syrup wars are over, we've all heard this. AB InBev is switching gears to pretend that they care about the environment. They're doing a secret Busch beer pop-up being held in an undisclosed U.S. national forest this weekend. But Busch isn't telling anybody where, at least not directly. They're just dropping hints on social media, so you've got to puzzle it out. But if you get there, you can get some fresh, free and fresh Busch beer, win some swag, and you'll entice them to plant 100 trees for your visit. So that's, there you go.
Drink beer,
That's it.
do good, right?
That's the idea, yeah.
If you want Busch, you can find
you
it
want
out
Busch,
there in the wilds and have a good time with it, right?
Or you could just go plant 100 trees yourself and, make
Either
it
way,
easy. Yeah,
probably,
exactly.
and choose whatever beer you want then, right?
Exactly.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon to talk more with Ale Sharpton. Is your brewery or restaurant flooring all jacked up? Your foundation needs to be protected from heat, chemicals, and other contaminants. At the same time, you want to make sure it's slip resistant and you can clean up your messes with soap and water. You know who to call?
ResTech.
We've been manufacturing poured-in-place flooring since 2002, and we've got solutions to fit any facility's needs. Go on and visit our website at
ResTech.net.
That's RES-TEK.net. Drop us a line and we will come to you for a free evaluation.
Oh, yeah.
It's Brian and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Brian. They've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, that's where it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks, so you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth.
Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Oh, God, here we go again. Dork alert.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you miss an episode, you shouldn't, but don't worry. All episodes are available as a podcast. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and never miss a show. Now let's get back to our talk with Ale Sharpton.
Ale Sharpton in the house, in the studio. How you doing, sir? Ale, you're pouring a beer there, man. What are you pouring?
Oh my gosh. My homie just handed me the new Glarus, man, which is a shout out to them. Wisconsin always shows me love, and this is all over the place, but only in Wisconsin, which is very admirable. And Creature Comforts shamelessly uses a lot of their business plans from what they've done in the past. So shout out to them, man. And this is one of the biggest ones, the Spotted Cow.
You
That's Spotted Cow, baby.
You know, I think Yuengling may be the only other craft beer that is that ubiquitous in a state to where people, you know, a lot of these other states where they're big, it's still going to be Bud Light or one of those that's number one. But Spotted Cow, Yuengling in their home states, they rule the turf there.
They definitely do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Brian, I wanted to throw in something you mentioned in the news about Founders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's something there. Founders made an announcement that 2019 will be the last year for the foreseeable future that they are going to package CBS. Canadian breakfast style.
But you did realize they're going 12 ounces with it.
I did. They're going to have the 12 ounces, but better stock up as many of them as you can because you may not be able to get them.
It's a smart move because it's getting less and less hype with every year it comes out, especially being in 12s. Pulling it back for now and letting it rest for a bit will bring up more excitement for it when it re-releases. From a business standpoint,
it's the McRib theory.
Exactly.
It's the McRib theory.
I feel like I have to go buy it now.
That's right.
Whereas if they were going to just release it every year, I'm like, I'll get it whenever, you know?
Elle, are you a fan of beers like that? Like bourbon barrel maple stouts?
Oh, man. I've been waking up weird trying those beers lately. I don't know if it's I'm just getting older or whatever the case is, but I never thought I'd be in a 6%, 7% range and even 5%. I'm like, that's my wave right now. That's what I'm getting into. I like IPAs that are not over 7.5. So
I can respect that.
Yeah.
We're Pilsner fanboys recently, and you know, especially with the temperatures like they are right now, something easy drinking. We just sipped one. You just visited a brewery here recently, Tucker Brewing, and we've got TKR Pilsner from them, and we had a Radler. What's the name of the Radler?
Roaring 20s, I think.
Lemon Radler. Yeah. So you know, these are summer sippers.
Absolutely,
here, right?
This is another one, and I keep talking about beers that I have people try when people think that beer is only one type of flavor. Radlers are excellent. They have a great history. Just real quick, that they were running out of beer during a biking tournament that was going on, and they're like, "Oh gosh, how are we going to serve these bikers when they're stopping by to have a beer?" So they went ahead and cut it. They had a lot of, I think it was lemonade actually, what they had, and they cut it so it was half beer, half lemonade, and then that became an actual beverage.
And none of those bikers got scurvy as a result, so it worked out
Everybody
really well.
wins. Everybody wins.
So my question, Tim, is: does this count as a crispy boy?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That citrus makes it just not quite crispy enough?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, but I'll still allow it. I'll still allow it there.
But shout out to Gabriel and Ashley and everybody at Tucker Brewing. They said they knew I was going. I told them, I said, I can't wait to see my guys, the radio. Beer Guys.
Beer Guys Radio.
Beer Guys Radio. I flipped it. But anyway, he was excited, so we want to make sure you guys
cool. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks,
for bringing
man.
those over
Yeah.
for us. Ale Sharpton. We want to. Who is Ale Sharpton?
Who is?
I don't know. I heard
broad,
about the
man?
dude. I heard he was pretty straight.
He's a troublemaker. I hear. So. No, but Ale Sharpton. Some people may know you if they've read your articles. That Dennis Malcolm Byron,
Right.
Byron, not Byron. And
He's
but
cool, too.
He is cool. But in the beer world, Ale Sharpton. You go around. You do a lot of writing videos. I've seen your video channels on that. But how did Dennis Malcolm Byron become Ale Sharpton?
I thought it was, first of all, Dennis Malcolm Byron. It's like a law firm. I always say that as a joke, but it truly is. You get in an accident, you call Dennis Malcolm Byron.
LLC.
We'll look out for you. Right. All three of us. But no, I really wanted to come out with something. There wasn't really a beer personality around that time. And I'm talking like in the 90s. So my first alias was I had just in case was my first one, and then but I wrote about hip hop too. But then after that, I said, you know what, I need something that's more beer centric, and so I went and did my thing. Had a couple of brews, and at 2 a.m. it was a eureka situation, and it was Ale Sharpton. I wanted somebody who was passionate. I wanted to talk about passion. I want to talk about somebody who's dedicated to their craft. And I thought letting people know I was a brother, why not say something that's similar to Al Sharpton? And I was recently interviewed in Forbes magazine, and I made it a point for him to know that there was nothing derogatory towards me saying anything about that, but it was more of paying homage to what he does. And people remember Ale Sharpton a little better than they would
do.
Dennis Malcolm Byron. I mean, my name's been in a lot of magazines under the formal government name, but Ale Sharpton has a little bit of a ring to it, and people like saying it.
And El, that Forbes article actually worked out for you pretty well, right?
It's pretty dope.
I mean, it's cool enough that you're written up in Forbes, right?
Yes.
But that led to a pretty nice little meeting for you, huh?
Absolutely. And he happened to read it the next morning, and I got a Instagram message saying from 2 of his PR representatives saying, hey, Al Sharpton would love to meet you, and he's in town for one day in Atlanta. Would you happen to be interested in meeting him? I'm like, I don't know. I'm checking.
Check.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm
see what I
organizing
can
my
do.
sock drawer. No, but I was like, do it. Heck yes. And so I went ahead and made it happen, and I brought my dad and my wife, and we went and kicked it with him, and he was super cordial, and he wanted to take pictures with me, and he's asking me about my life. I'm like, Reverend, I want to talk to you about what you've done, and thank you for all the things you've done in the past. But it was really interesting, and it was a surreal moment. Definitely, it was crazy.
That's pretty good. It's been a busy month for you then, right?
Yes.
A month or so.
You know,
crazy.
Your story with Al Sharpton is more interesting than mine. I saw him at Club Macanudo in New York City. I was just sitting there drinking a bourbon, smoking a cigar. I looked over and, oh, hey, it's Al Sharpton. He just walks through. Didn't actually meet him, but I saw him. I'm like, oh, hey, I know that guy. I've seen him around.
You give a little head nod.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was definitely heading somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I got
He's
to
always on the
see
move.
him. I don't think he saw me, but
That's very interesting.
But
you
that's
say
my
that.
story. So.
People always say I see him, but he's always on the move, and he is. He doesn't stop in his workout program and what he eats. He told me. He said I eat multi-grain toast, lightly toasted, twice a day. No
What kind of
butter,
jelly
nothing on
does he
no
put on
jelly. I know you're going to go there. No jelly.
He's lost a lot of weight over the years too. Yeah,
He might be a strawberry guy. I don't know. 'Cause that's me. But he does cheat. He has a salad at night, and then his cheating is having a fish on Fridays. That's it. That's his diet.
His whole day is.
I said, well, then if that's the case, I'm gonna treat you to lunch next time you're done.
That's right. I can definitely afford that. Well, so speaking of staying fit, staying trim, you've done it. You've been in beer for a long time,
Yes,
and
sir.
you're not as big as I am. I don't know how do you do that? How do you stay in shape?
Well, it's hard for me to sometimes do beer dinners because I always let them know what I do ahead of time. But thank you all chefs for working with me. But I avoid dairy as much as possible. I did have my cheese curds in Montreal, so it is.
Gotta have your poutine.
The poutine, I gotta have that, man. It's one of the best delicacies, especially when you're about to, go to bed and you want something to kind of soak up all the stuff you've done that day. It's fantastic. Poutine is, just so everybody knows, hand cut fries with the meat gravy. Usually it's turkey gravy, and then you have fresh cheese curds. So with that, it was awesome. So
and they fry the fries in duck fat, I think, is traditional.
This is an awesome cheat weekend. And also, I don't do a lot of fried foods, like you said, except for Chick-fil-A. It's my nemesis right now, but it is what it is.
So do you hit the gym pretty heavy on top of all
I
that?
do 120 push-ups, 120 sit-ups, and 120 curls of 20s on each arm every day. I have one day I don't do it.
Okay. I mean, and I've heard many times, I can't speak to this, but just have a steady routine. You don't have to go for 4 hours every day.
No.
Watch what you eat. Don't eat poutine every day, right?
No.
Can I do what you do and look like Terry Crews? Because that's kind of what I want to do.
Terry Crews?
Yeah. Oh, man. I
have to work out a little
my
bit
things
more.
jump in. That's his. No. And also moderation. Just, you don't have to eat a lot. Just eat slow and you will be full quicker.
I've never heard that word. What was that word
Moderation.
again?
Moderation.
Yeah. Everything in moderation, Brian.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I've heard it. I don't want to know any more about that. I'm not a fan.
I'm scared of it, actually.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take another break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Ale Sharpton.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger Brewing pride themselves at being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room in Marietta, Georgia to taste and see. Also visit their barrel room for an intimate drinking experience with great live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery. Set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cannonball coming.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to our newest radio affiliate, Smart Talk 106.3 FM in Sheridan, Wyoming. Catch Beer Guys Radio on Smart Talk 106.3 FM every Saturday at 10 a.m. local time. Now let's get back to our talk with Ale Sharpton.
Ale Sharpton, sir, how are you?
My man.
You good? What are we drinking now? What do we move on to? I think we have another Georgia local beer here, one from Line Creek. Or not Line Creek, Six Bridges, correct, Brian?
Yes, Six Bridges Sour Continuum with pink guava. It's a Berliner Weiss, and it's a 4.3% ABV beer.
Crushable.
Yes, very
I
crushable.
really like it. I'm a guava fan, and they did a great job of balancing it out. And I'm working on my Berliner Weiss style, and that one will definitely help bridge the gap of me trying more of those. You said Line Creek. Shout out to them. I like their Ain't Afraid of No Goza. I love that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think we got some of that in the fridge, actually.
We do.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And we're actually going to be at Line Creek.
We are.
We're going to do a show at their anniversary here. Their anniversary party is August 3rd, and the show that following Saturday will be recorded at Line Creek.
Happy anniversary, Line.
That's going to be great. I'm with Ale on the guava thing. I didn't even know I was a big fan of it, and now every time it's in a beer, I'm all about that beer.
Yes,
that whole pog thing or just guava on its own. Something about guava is magical. It's a
fruit.
weird fruit, too.
Well, that's beer introduced me to both guava and passion fruit.
Uh-huh.
These were neither of these were fruits that I cared for much, or even really thought about, to be honest with you, till having them in beer. And I like the guava by itself, but passion fruit and guava together, man, that's tasty in one of these little light sour beers.
Never mad at that combo.
Right. Now, El, your travel, man, you go all over the place. We talked about you've been to Jackson, Mississippi recently.
I actually enjoyed it, man. I didn't know what to
Montreal?
expect. I keep it real. I never came to Mississippi.
Had you been,
it was fun.
okay, never been over there before then. Okay.
No,
All right.
and it was an awesome time, man. And the food was banging. And I've seen some things I don't think I would do in terms of food because on my diet, I don't eat beef or pork, but there's some things that were really interesting that were really about that city that people really patronized. And I love that. It was really hometown food.
Now, I have family in the area,
Okay.
right around
Okay.
Jackson.
Uh-huh.
I live there many years ago.
Sure.
I won't say how many. Make me seem too old if I say that, but many years ago.
You're forever young, buddy.
Forever young, man. But the craft beer scene, man, they're struggling to get that going. There's a few in the state, but there was Untitled Brewing that was in Jackson that closed recently. We had Lucas Simmons on, really nice guy. I actually got a chance to visit that on a visit over there. But, being in the state capital and the one brewery that was there, that kind of stinks. But did you happen to make it past a place, I think it was called the Pig and Pint?
Yes, that's my spot.
Did you try the smoked collard greens there?
I think there might have been pork in those.
Oh, okay. No pork, huh?
Yeah,
that's right.
but Chris really showed me a great time.
Yeah.
And on my Instagram, it's Cruising for Bruising, and then Jackson. And I really had a good time there, man. And the food, everything was a fun time. And I think just being open-minded and going and checking out different places around the country. The U.S., man, I'm not the most patriotic guy sometimes, depending on who's the president. But overall, though,
how about currently? We'll move on from that, right?
But the U.S. is really amazing because it has so many different types of weather, climate, topography. It's just really a beautiful country. You could see so many different things. You go to Miami and kick it and have the tropical weather. Then you go somewhere where there's a lot of snow. It's amazing what we can do.
Well, we're a huge country, and they talk about people talk about Europe and going to all of these different places. The U.S. you can travel all over. If you talk to someone in the South, in the Northeast, the Northwest, the West, these are all different cultures, different people, different cuisines, different traditions. They call water fountains different things, Brian.
Sure.
Some of them like different kinds of jelly.
I know. Crazy ones prefer grape. I've heard it said that I've heard people say in the past, it's like, oh, the U.S. doesn't really have a culture. I'm like, you're right. We have thousands of little cultures. Right. These little nested areas have their own interesting cultures. We've got, what's the Anderson Valley? They have a whole sub-language there that's not spoken anywhere else. Right. That's just an extremely American isolated culture. Very interesting stuff.
Is it Geechee Gullah? You familiar with that, Al?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's
really
that's
deep
like
in Charleston.
low country, isn't it?
Yeah, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Definitely. And there is definitely a dialect with there as well, and a lot of history. And there's so many different histories in the U.S. that I love, too, about this country. We could drive. My man Willie the Kid is here, and he travels a lot. He's one of the best rappers in the world, I will tell you that right now. And I'm saying because he's here. But anyway, he travels a lot, too. And we talk about our different experiences of where we go, especially around the country, and it's really amazing. What the U.S. has.
Oh, yeah. It's an awesome spot.
So how much time do you spend? It seems like you're constantly traveling. How much time do you actually spend every year? Like maybe percentage-wise of your schedule. Are you on the plane going somewhere outside of Atlanta?
Twice a month.
Twice a month?
Twice a month.
That's still a lot of travel.
That's it. Oh, man, I was out every week to Florida and Miami.
I know. Well, I'm just trying to average it out for 52 weeks is the only reason I said
I was on the road every week.
But sometimes I go nuts. Yeah. Well, it's dope, but it will wear on you, so respect to you being able to do that all the time. But Atlanta has so much to offer that I like to explore in the city a lot, too, so.
Yeah.
In the state of Georgia, for that matter.
It's good.
Yeah.
But like you said, man, all over the country. Places like Sheridan, Wyoming, Moab, Utah. Warren, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
And you know what's great about all of those cities? You can tune into Beer Guys Radio on the local radio.
And what, 32
Washington,
states?
D.C.?
I mean, 32
like 23 states and like
34 stations.
34 stations. Yeah.
See, I've been doing a little bit of my homework. I missed by 2. But
close
congratulations,
We're
y'all.
like Founders except in half.
Founders
they have all 50 states.
2.
We have almost 25. So
divided by 2, subtract 2.
Yeah, exactly. It all
but
makes
serious
sense.
talk since day one, you guys. I've been with you, and just it's amazing what you've been doing. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that. And we were looking back. We had you on the show in the early days too. You come and hung out with us in our first studio there, and
it was a blast.
We went from being tied to the man and having a corporate thing to our own digs out here.
I had to wear khakis that day. You told me.
That's it, man. Wear khakis. There will be a test at
wear a smart button-up shirt and khakis.
Yeah.
Now, outside of beer, you do a lot of other stuff too. As we mentioned, food. You're big into fashion.
Yes,
you got to look dope, right? As you said.
Yes, I'm a sneaker fiend. Shoe for that matter. I have to have my wallabies and that kind of thing. But I'm really into clothing, hats. I'm never caught without a hat. This has always been my crown since I was a baby. I'm always loved hats. So that's
how many
thing.
hats and pairs of shoes do you personally own?
My sneaker and shoe game is a little nuts. And then I'm always a boot guy, too.
Okay.
I would say about 50 pairs. I've cut it down a little bit.
Do you have a closet specifically for shoes?
I'm in a condo in downtown Atlanta. I can't have
They're everywhere you can go, right?
That's my dream thing to do, definitely. And I run a creative agency. Thanks for asking. And I help consult and do a lot of design work for companies and hold art shows. So I'm doing that. And I do a lot of speeches and stuff around the country.
Now, I've seen you also get, they're like, hey, will you drive this brand new Corvette? Hey, will you come check out this Bentley?
Yes, sir.
What do I need to do to get people to call me and tell me to come drive their Bentley? Didn't you have an i8 recently, a BMW i8?
Yeah, not too long ago.
What in the world are you doing over there, Al?
Oh, man. That was straight up my journalism days, especially when I was editor for a couple of publications, including J'adore, Atlanta Voice. They gave me the opportunity to be the editor, and I think that I wanted to apply a lot more of a lifestyle element to those publications. So that's the deal. Atlanta Tribune, a lot of other ones. But I love writing about cars. I think it's just really interesting how the industry is going, and it kind of reminds me of craft beer because you always got to have something different in order to stand out. So
now, do you own a car, or do they keep you flowing enough that you usually have one to drive?
I share one with my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You share one because you probably will have someone you got to test out,
that gas thing
right?
gets a little weird, and you might as well take advantage of those full tanks.
Sure. Well, I had a neighbor one time that worked for, I think he had a consultant company, but one of his big clients was Mercedes, and apparently they would have things where they would have big VIPs that were coming in, like they wanted to buy half a dozen cars.
Right.
And his job is when they would come into Atlanta, or he may fly out to them, but he'd take them in the S class, and drive them and tell them everything about it. But this even went as far as he would take them to dinner and do this. You really wine and dine these people, and with the purpose of convincing them to buy $100,000 cars.
Right. So. I don't know how advantageous it is to have such a luxurious car or exotic car if that's the only car. I don't think that's the case. I think you got to be balling to have that because Atlanta traffic's so ruthless.
Oh yeah,
especially if you're driving stick and you're driving.
It might as well be a really comfortable car to sit in because you're going to sit in it for a long time if you're in Atlanta,
especially in Atlanta, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break from Atlanta traffic and the radio show right now. We'll be back very soon to talk more with Ale Sharpton.
As a brewery owner or taproom manager, are you looking for ways to enhance your customer experience while maximizing your revenues? Craft Cellar is a mobile solution that helps your brewery drive sales and attract new customers through online pre-sales for beer releases, events, and memberships. Get details now at craftcellar.com. Mention Beer Guys Radio after sign up and extend your free trial to a full 30 days. Remember craftcellar.com, craftcellr.com.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're Storytime Construction, and we build breweries. We're Georgia's most experienced and hands-on contractors when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding existing breweries. We offer full build-outs, remodeling, and additions, as well as consulting and construction management. Give us a call at 770-733-4343. Storytime Construction. We build breweries.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons can get some cool perks like Beer Guys swag, commercial-free episodes, and even bonus episodes that aren't available anywhere else. I'm talking about a brand new episode of this beer right here where we sample the unique Untitled Art Rocket Popsicle Sour. It's up right now for our fans on Patreon, and it's blue, Tim.
It's blue.
It's blue.
Bright blue. Bluer than your shirt.
It's right bluer now, than my Beer Guys radio shirt. It really is. And now more from Ale Sharpton.
Ale Sharpton. I want to talk about a collaboration you did, man. I meant to brush on that earlier. We kind of zipped onto some other things. But you did a collaboration with a New Belgium Brewing.
Yes.
Called Piano Keys. Can you tell us about that one?
Oh, man, it was amazing. New Belgium reached out to me and wanted my opinion and consultation on diversifying the craft beer scene. and they wanted to know if I had any ideas and ways I could work with them, and they flew me out there and to discuss it. And I already had an idea in mind. I said we need to make a beer together. And I mean, New Belgium is one of the biggest breweries in not only the country, the world, and they do a lot of great charitable work and things that source. They're employee owned, so it was really awesome. So I said, okay. They said, what did you have in mind? I said, how about we make a beer? They said, okay, what kind of beer would you like to make? I said, let's make an Imperial Stout. Why an Imperial Stout? Because I think that's a way to get people who don't drink beer to know that beer can taste like a chocolate or vanilla and all that. And they said, oh, chocolate, what do you mean vanilla? I said, yes, I want to make a chocolate vanilla beer. You want me to talk about diversity? Why not chocolate vanilla?
I get
Ebony
the
and Ivory.
Piano keys.
The piano
bring it together.
keys, right?
Ebony Ivory.
That
There
sounds
you
like it
go.
needed some lactose in it.
No, I told them that it's going to be lactose free though, so they were like, okay, no problem. And I made sure we used chocolate from here, from Georgia. So we did that, which was really
What
cool.
chocolate did you go with?
Inside Croc Street Market.
Is it Chocolatl?
Yeah, Chocolatl.
Chocolatl, yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure I said it right again. But no, it is Chocolatl, spelled with an X. Yeah, I want to look it up. Great people, and use a Nicaraguan kind of chocolate for that, cacao with that. So it was, I wanted that darkness. I don't want it overly sweet. So they did a great job balancing it. Then we had Madagascar vanilla beans, so they're really keeping it real right there, straight from Africa. So it was really dope.
See, that's things that I think people don't think about. Anytime you dive into something on an artisan level, whether it's beer or chocolate or vanilla, with your Nicaraguan chocolate.
Yeah.
There's just so many varieties.
So many varieties.
I want to do a chocolate flight one time and have them all like prepared at the same darkness level with different varietals of chocolate, so to taste the.
You mean like hot chocolate flight, like drinking chocolate,
no,
or just actual nibbles?
Por qué no los dos, Brian?
I like that idea. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Like a gravy flight, which we had
at Biscuit Head in Asheville.
In Asheville,
of course. And they did a great job. I thought that people who were not really accustomed to beer to see the words chocolate vanilla, that it would work really well. And then I wanted it to be 10%. I had that already. It was all just. From there, it just took off. And shout out to Justin Cross and everybody, the staff, Stevie F, the CEO, and everybody else who really brought me in there and made this happen. So we brought it to Atlanta and did some launches in Athens, then did a launch in Asheville. So it was only on tap. I want to bottle it. I already have a bottle concept ready, so we might have to do something.
So are we going to see bottles of it?
I hope so.
But you do have an event coming up where it's going to be coming back, right?
Yeah, so people are like, when can I try the next one? Since it's not available anymore, it will be available at Fresh Fest, which is going to be amazing. It's celebrating minorities as well, making beer. So a lot of people from around the country are collaborating with different breweries and serving the beer. It's one of the first beer fests to be about that. Shout out to Mike Potter and everybody who's throwing that. And that's going to be in Pittsburgh, and that's going to be August 10th, and I will be there. It's going to be amazing, but the day before I'm doing a symposium, and it's going to be crazy. So I'm serving my beer there. They got a keg ready to pour for that. And Piano Keys is going to be on there, but Crowns and Hops, a lot of other people are going to be there. It's going to be really amazing. Yeah,
sounds pretty awesome. Now, you mentioned this beer was kind to support diversity or grow diversity there. We've talked to a lot of great people here, and we talked a little bit about Atlanta and how they are as far as the African-American craft beer scene.
Right.
And I haven't traveled to experience that a lot in other places, but I know from what I see in the media and talking to other breweries, Atlanta seems to be kind of ahead of the game as far as diversifying.
Way ahead of the game. There's just so many different events, and people, when you go into any beer bar now, you go to Argosy or Brick Store, Porter, you're going to see a lot more diversity going on in there. And there are a lot of other people who are just leaders, and they're doing that, like a lot of collaborations now too, which is really cool. So people call me the OG, even the Nappy Roots. They call me the GOAT, which I really, really appreciate. I don't
not bad guys to call you the GOAT. Right?
I love those guys, man. Nappy Roots is really serious about the beer. There's no gimmick involved when they're doing it. There's just a lot of great people out there who are all about beer. Great brewers too.
We got Conso Brewing, Down Home Brewing.
Yeah, Conso,
here.
Down Home. They collaborate with me. But also Asian. Shout out to Andy
Tan at
Hopsticks.
And the food is crazy, but everybody knows it's one of my favorite
that
spots.
That ramen right there.
Oh, ramen's the joint.
Yeah.
I get the mee goreng and stuff. They already know what I'm gonna eat when I go in there. But they serve a lot of food I eat. But anyway, Hopsticks, shout out to them in Chambly. But also Puerto Rican, my boy Justin Ramirez over at Arches is killing it. My man Joel at Skullflaw is a brother who's killing it over there.
Good
so
dude.
it's really happening. And there's women too who are making moves here, even here right now at Ironmonger. Shout out to D. So it's really a great move that we're doing here. And Atlanta is so progressive, and the cities on the outskirts in general, man. I'm really happy about what's going on. I'm happy to be a part of that movement.
Yeah, it's like you said, I think we're catching a great time in the movement from, at least again, like I said, from me on the outside looking in.
Right.
You know, we know the Nappy Roots Atlantucky guys well.
Those are my dudes.
We enjoy hanging with them. We had them in the studio a few weeks ago. They stopped by, and we were just sitting there. Well, we were just sitting there chatting with them, and Skinny DeVille says, we should record this.
Yes.
We accidentally recorded a show.
Let's do it then.
Accidentally, yeah.
But talking to those guys about beer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're ready for it. Yeah. But they're passionate about it.
Oh, man, they have their own brewing setup, and Monday
Sure.
Night supported a lot of stuff they've done, so shout out to them as well. But they've been going around collaborating, and shout out to Skinny and Scales and 808 Blake and all the rest of the crew, man. I loved hanging with them, and we always sit brews and talk and build.
Yeah.
They're good guys.
So talking of beer in the South and Atlanta and that, you're actually working with the Southern Craft Beer Magazine, right?
The Southern Craft Beer Magazine. I got a call, and they asked me if I would be interested in being a guest editor. And when I go all in, I go all in. I don't want my name on anything that I'm not going 100%. My mom taught me that a long time ago. You put your name on something, you better kick with it. I'm sorry, kick butt with it. So when you do that, which is
gonna be a lot of censor sounds.
Oh man, that's all right. You guys, you already know I'm chilling.
We got it.
But that's my mom cursed more than me. But I'll leave that alone for now. But anyway, yeah. So it's really a dedicated magazine. Didn't like this is something that was gimmicky. They really are serious, and they knew that I had my ear to the street in terms of what's going on in the South. So, and I'm from the North, so coming here is just me always learning. I wasn't born in this. So since 90, I've really started learning a lot more about what's going on and being part of the growth, helping pass laws, getting the word out about what's going on with everything. Shout out to Nancy Palmer. She's on the cover. She is the head of the Georgia Brewers Guild, so you got to give her a shout out too. And we have a lot of great articles in there. We're featuring Creature Comfort, celebrating their 5 years. I wrote that article. We've got things about beer alternatives, talking about things if you're not really into beer, but you want to try other stuff. There's Long Drink in there, which is a famous, it's like a gin-based kind of thing. Mind you, Fresca, but with alcohol. And
I have mixed
really
gin with Fresca, so I'm down.
It's fire. Yeah, they're killing it. So we're featuring that, and then we're doing something on Vigée, I'm sorry, that Willie the Kid is putting out, sparkling wine. We're doing something on that. Just stuff that you could try that might not be beer, might not be your thing, but there's other things to try. So it's really
so it's Southern Craft Beer Magazine is the name of the magazine, but they cover a little bit of everything.
Everything, right? Man, and the pictures are dope. I had to make sure of that, and they have no problem working with me. And I'm very meticulous about what I do. And this magazine, I can't wait. It's gonna be killer.
So speaking of that and alternative beverages and stuff, have you got into the sparkling seltzers?
Oh, yeah. So I just did something with Bon and Viv, which was really fun. I did something with influencers. They asked me to work with them on a promotional program where I would bring in, I came up with the whole idea, and they were with it. So we brought in Atlanta Beer Boutique. That's my girl, Jen. We brought in the Bubbly, ATL Bubbly, which was fun. And then
Caroline. I think she was involved.
Yeah. So Caroline, who also was the homie. So everyone came in, they competed. It was a mix down, I called it, and it was successful. It was at City Tap, which is really cool. But anyway, yes, so it's fun. I think it's something to drink that's kind of light, and especially with the summer hot mutts, it's like 5% or whatever, but they have different flavors, and we did some with their black cherry, rosemary, which is really fun.
I haven't tried any of them yet, but boy, they are just absolutely taking off.
They're killing it, man, yeah.
El, thank you so much for joining us, man. If folks want to keep up with your adventures, what is the best way to do that?
Thank you for asking that. Please follow my Instagram. That's Real, R-E-A-L, A-L-E Sharpton, Real Ale Sharpton for Instagram, and then my Twitter is Ale Sharpton straight up, and everything else is alesharpton.com. But thank you again, and beer guys, whenever y'all need me, I'm in the house.
We appreciate it, man. Thank you much for joining us. Always have a good time chatting with you, man.
Congrats to your success, man.
Thank you, sir.
With y'all forever. Man.
We appreciate it. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Coming up next week, we'll be talking with North Carolina's Wooden Robot Brewery. For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.